Hi, this is Ushio, and welcome back to Angels with Scaly Wings. We're continuing on with the Last Hope mod. In the last part, there was some ultimatums. A human was sent through the portal. It was Logan. So if you're familiar with the Last Dragon mod, there was a character in there called Logan. He's been sent through. He's kind of a friend with us, so hopefully that will be fine. But Bryce has now taken him on a tour around town, so we're going to go visit Remy. The library appeared to be much quieter than usual, almost desolate if Remy hadn't been moving between the bookcases so smoothly. I barely had to move before he noticed me. Oh, afternoon. Please forgive me if I can't talk for long. I received a very important task from the council that I have to hand in this evening, with it proving to be quite a challenge to manage. Oh, I'm guessing that it has something to do with the comet, right? Yes. I need to gather all of the resources we have on asteroid redirection techniques and present them to the council in such a way that they can come up with a plan. Do you want help? Are you sure you'll be able to manage that alone? Are there any others that are supposed to help? Do you want help? I'll offer, I'll do. If I could get help, then yeah. But sadly, due to the confidential nature of a potential... Remy looked around to see if anybody was nearby. After no one was around, he continued talking in a softer tone. Extinction event. This is all work that I need to keep between me and the council, even if you're directly involved with this. Sorry. It's alright. I can help you with the PDAs though, no? In any case, is there anything I can help you with, considering that you're here? Not really, just wanted to check up on you, that's all. How's the injury? It's all healed up. Good to hear. I can imagine that going from bookshelf to bookshelf would be substantially more difficult if you're constantly limping. I guess so. I'm sorry, but I really do need to get back to work. I'll let you know when I find an opportunity for us to do something. I shall eagerly wait your response then. So be it. Remy dashed back into the library's narrow corridors. I could see how he gathered several books and stacked them to form a small pillar, peering around the sides of the books as he carried them to see where he was going. Remy eventually set the books on the nearby table, sat down, and began to read them. I'm proud of you, Remy. That could have been quite nasty if you accidentally tripped. Decided that I have nothing left to do at the library anymore, I left the building to wander the streets of the town. We need to not get caught, because we're supposed to be escorted. We don't want to get Sebastian sacked, because he's supposed to be helping us. I strolled through town, hoping that I would have the clarity I needed to organise my thoughts. Also, where's Maverick? He's gone very quiet. Suddenly, I heard a footstep behind me. An ominous presence started to surround that area as intrigue took over me. What are you doing here, Maverick? Oh, there he is. There you go. I'm simply taking a pleasant stroll through town and enjoying the sunlight, that's all. I don't believe you for a second. Since when did you randomly appear out of nowhere by chance? I see that the investigations with Bryce have taught you much. Good. Spit it out already, Maverick. I already know that you're here with an ulterior motive. So impatient. I wanted to apologise. For what? Are you this naive, despite everything that's happened? I wanted to apologise for the way I treated you. I was wrong to assume that you wanted to help Reza, despite everything you've done so far proving otherwise. Do understand that from my position, I had no other choice than to be sceptical of you. After all, everything that your so-called colleague had done painted humanity in kind of a bad light. It was only reasonable to suspect you had something to do with Reza's plan. But don't think for a second that I'm letting you off the hook just because humanity's new toy has arrived. I'll have to watch you and your partner closely to try and prevent another potential incident occurring. I understand. Why not just watch Logan? You're wasting your time. I mean, yeah, I get it, but you don't need to be. I get it. I'm glad we're on the same page. I should be going now. Hey man, we could hang out. Wait. Yo, come back. What do you want? Why did you say that a feral dragon killed Reza? Maverick seemed to be slightly taken aback by the question. He thought about his response for quite some time before answering me. You made me realise just how fragile our trade agreement truly was. Because of you, Bryce got shot by Reza several times and had to stay in hospital. However, if it weren't for you, Bryce might have died if I'd gone through with my original plan of storming the facility head on. Do you not realise that should Bryce have died, Dragonkind would most likely have stopped the trade agreement right then and there? The Council wouldn't take the death of the police chief at the hands of an ambassador too lightly. Even then, the fact that Bryce did get shot doesn't exactly help to make relations more stable. That's why, while making copies, I changed the report you wrote for the humans so that when they read what happened, they didn't immediately close the portal from their side thanks to the loss of one of their ambassadors. I also edited reports that were sent to the Council to help ease the plans, one of which I personally delivered to Emera. Yes, I know this is blatant corruption, but I still tried my best with what I could do just to make the trade a little bit more stable. And that was before the news about the comet and the new ambassador, however. Do you have any idea of the consequences of what you've done? If Bryce were to figure out that you forged, I know damn well what's going to happen. I don't need you of all people to remind me. Besides, it's only a matter of time before Bryce finds out. I'm asking you to play along for now, so that both of our civilizations won't crumble. You need our generators to continue living, and we need your PDAs for the comet. As an officer, I despise the fact that I'm considered doing this in the first place, but this will benefit everybody. I had no choice but to choose the lesser evil. Ushio, everybody's lives are in your hands. Don't mess this up. Maverick turned around and took off before I could say anything. Several other questions lingered in my mind, with no hopes of receiving answers. Maverick appeared to have another reason for committing a crime in order to cover his tracks. But what does it all entail? I fear that I'm missing a crucial part of the puzzle, but I can't exactly say what that piece is, nor where it would fit in. I should probably just go home. I think I've had more than enough confusion for today. I slowly collected all my stray thoughts as best as I could, and slowly strolled back home. Well, people didn't really want to talk to me today, did they? We got ditched by Logan, Remy wasn't in the mood, and Maverick is a spicy dude still. In the evening, I arrived at my apartment. The sun was slowly setting on the horizon, bathing the distant portal in divine rays of light. My mind, however, is not at ease. There's simply far too much going on that would affect the lives of millions of people. These thoughts eventually gave way to doubt, and doubt gave way to insecurities. After all, a single blunder could wipe out an entire civilization. Oh, door's gone. Hello? Logan. Evening, Ambassador. Hey, so I'm guessing that you've hopefully learned some things about the town? Yeah, I did. I even got my official ambassador status while I was on my little tour. I honestly didn't think that I'd get my status today, but it seems that I was wrong. That's only because of the circumstances that led to your arrival. Well, what else would you expect? I mean, I literally came here, demanded some stuff on behalf of humanity, and just went on my way. I'm surprised the dragons didn't immediately send me back. They almost did send me back a while ago. That wouldn't have been a very good choice on their side. It's because of how kind the dragons actually are. What should we go for? Dragons, cool, man. From what I've seen here so far, I kind of have to agree. If you were to ask me a few days ago, I'd heavily disagree. Due to Reza, I presume. Among other things, like I said, dragons have been getting a bad reputation back home, and things are probably going to get even worse if they refuse the ultimatum. Consider this, the dragons don't have much to lose, whereas the humans are throwing away all hope by taking such a big risk. And you know how the authorities are. I do. They always get what they want in the end. And what do you think's going to happen if the dragons refuse? I see. Precisely. Logan seemed to drift off for a moment, causing an eerie silence to grow between the two of us. I just remembered something. You never got the chance to answer my question? Oh, that. Logan sighed heavily while making himself comfortable on the couch. This is going to be a long answer, so make yourself comfortable, as I don't want your attention to drift here, especially on something as stupid as a cramp or whatever. Got it? Okay, so I'll start from just a few hours before I left. Oh, here come that flashback. So what happened? For a long time after Reza's body was sent through, humanity debated what to do. The report was read by the authorities, and they were not pleased. I already mentioned that everybody had their own ideas about what we should do, so it took a long time for them to decide to send me through. A scout had appeared while they were making preparations for me to venture into the unknown. Apparently, a monumental discovery was made, one that was far too significant to ignore. I should clarify that shortly after you left, humanity began to develop a backup plan in case your mission failed. Scouts were dispatched further and further from the city and into the desert, hoping to find something that we could use to extend the lifespan of the city for a little bit while we impatiently waited for your return. One of these scouting missions was a huge success. According to the report, this scout discovered an abandoned copper mine a few miles northeast of the city, complete with primitive smelting equipment. The mine also didn't appear to be completely dry, as it still contained some copper ore that could be smelted. As if it weren't stunning enough, mountains of electronic scrap were discovered farther inside the mine, just lying there, forgotten. A few samples were tested, and the findings were remarkable. Even after all these years, some components were still basically functional. The authorities freaked out when they heard the news, so much so that they almost forgot about their original plan of trying to get you back. Of course, as you might expect, more bickering followed. I can't even blame them there after all. What would you think would happen if you were to show something like a functional light bulb to someone that hasn't experienced the luxury of a house with electricity for several years? Now, to actually answer your question, I think that the authorities now regret choosing me for the mission to deliver the ultimatum, because I'm the best bet they have of making something useful out of those electronics. I could theoretically repair something thanks to my experience working with electronics, as well as my master's degree in electromagnetism from back in the day, but only if I had the blueprints. I believe why the authorities suddenly want you back is because of the PDA you have, as it has a lot of specialised knowledge of electronic equipment, among other things, if I remember correctly. Of course, these are only my theories and not an official reason. As far as I know, the authorities want you specifically, and not your PDA, even if all the evidence points against that. Unfortunately for them, everything had already been arranged by that point, so there was no turning back. I stepped through the portal, and the rest is history. Interesting. Ironic to think that in both scenarios, I was the authorities' best bet in getting what they want, don't you think? I just hope that I can help everybody back home. Sure, if I'd undergone the full ambassador training that you and Reza went through, I'd probably be in a better position for negotiation, but it's obviously not the case. Aren't there other people back home that could help with electronics? I'm pretty sure that there's a skilled electrician somewhere that would be able to help. That's the thing. Only some former associates of mine remain to do the task. Everybody that actually has the proper skill needed has fallen seriously ill, which means that they're all on life support and passively draining our energy reserves. Do you see the problem here? I didn't think things would be that bad back home. Which is why I'm here. I want to do everything in my power to help that which I deeply care about. I'm afraid that getting the generators anytime soon isn't going to happen though. The dragons don't have a choice if they know you don't get it. They're going to need every generator they can get. I'm confused. They should have already made the generators that they'll be sending us, correct? I think that it's my turn to inform you as to something what's going on. Yeah, there's like a comet that's going to hit the planet, so we kind of need the power to divert it. Ah, a comet. How is it that you always get yourself into the strangest of situations? First with all the work we did together, then you get selected as an ambassador to a dragon-infested world, and now you're responsible for saving said world from potential extinction event. It seems that we're on a crossroad here. Choose one route and neglect the other. You know that I'm not letting humanity down, and for what I understand of your little story, you're not going to either. Yet you also want to try and save the dragons, right? That's my goal. How did you even figure out that the comet was on its way? I pointed my PDA at the sky, which allowed it to determine that an extinction level comet was on the way. Interesting. I don't think that the PDA's feature to determine astrological events would work in an alien world. Me neither. Okay, so is there anything that we can do to try and resolve this problem? Okay, a couple of things there. Originally, was it Reza who told us? And we still don't know about Izumi if she's around either. So there are a couple of little things there that haven't been discussed. And also, yeah, Logan says that it's an alien world. Not true. This is Earth, but in a different timeline. So that's not something that we're going to explain either. So you got any ideas? Not that I can think of right now. It would take some serious idea testing and brainstorming to solve this. I'll probably have to let you know later. Though there is still something you need to keep in mind. Humanity is still my top priority. I don't want to spark hope in everybody back home just to abandon them all. Everything I do is for the benefit of humanity first. Got it? I guess. Good. For now, I'm taking the rest of the day off. Today's been pretty exhausting. Sadly, I didn't get my own place during my trip yet, so I'll have to stay with you for the night until something gets arranged for me. Could I not go crash at Bryce's or something? I don't mind. Anything in particular you want to do? I wanted to hang out with somebody. What was his name again? You know, the big guy. Scars in his neck and the muzzle. What, you mean Bryce? Yeah, that's the one. He invited me to a little event later, to which I might be gone for some time. Let me guess, he invited you to the bar for some drinking. How did you... Oh, any advice then? None. You're not going to stand a chance, especially if he starts challenging you to a competition. Competitions? Wow. It's been a while since I've been seriously drunk, but I think I'll manage. I significantly doubt that. And I significantly don't doubt that. Then prepare to spend the night sleeping on the floor. How comforting. Anyway, for now, I'm going to go to the library to read up on some stuff. It'll probably be better if I can immerse myself in some dragon culture when, you know, I'm actually taking part in the effort to negotiate with said culture. Do you think that you're going to be able to find your way? Nope. The plan is just to wander around until I recognise where the library actually is. Or if I happen to find my escort somewhere. Well, Bryce shouldn't be far. You can just call him on the phone if you want. Fine. Do you know the police officer's number? That is, assuming they're even at the station in the first place. It's on a piece of paper next to the phone. Logan went to the phone and started to call the police office for Bryce, and after a short while, he hung up and sighed. And it's done. I'm just going to wait for Bryce outside. In which case, I'll catch you later, hopefully. As usual, you're underestimating me. You're going to get so drunk, but enough of that, I'll see you later. Logan left my apartment and waited outside. I thought over the new information that I'd received from him, along with how that could influence the trade agreement. After all, if humanity manages to repair our broken generators or even create a new one from scratch, there wouldn't be a real benefit in continuing our deal with the dragons. I left my thoughts wander in my mind as the day slowly came to an end. So Logan, even though he's kind of on cool terms and you can chat with him, he's still like, no, I've got a job to do, and it's like humanity comes first, which is a bit more of a moderate Reza approach. Oh, phone went off. It's Remy. I was wondering if you had some time available today. I need a little bit of help with something. Of course, if you're not available, then I'll manage. But do let me know if you have the time. Have a good day. I mean, meet with Remy? Work on plans. I mean, I should. Because like earlier on, he said, I'm not free. And so he must have made time for us. Alright, let's go in. Is it his house? Hello? I entered Remy's apartment. He was nowhere to be found on first inspection, though he emerged from the kitchen a moment later, holding a small spoon. Yo, how's the spoon? Hey. I hope I'm not interrupting something. I know that it's not really a good idea to keep you away from your work, especially with what's going on, but I thought that it would be a good idea to work on this together. Okay, what you working on? Well, considering what happened last time with our dinner, I wanted to make it up to you. So, baking a cake. Or at least I'm trying to. This is the first time I'm trying to bake something, so I was hoping that you could maybe help me with a couple of things. Okay, of course, no problem. Thanks, I appreciate that. I'm a bit afraid of getting the recipe wrong due to how hard it is for me to get all the measurements right, but I'm sure that you will be able to help me out. And just wait for a bit. Gonna get that cake Remy returned to the kitchen for a brief moment and took something from a kitchen cabinet. He then opened a cooking book on the counters and casually turned page after page until he was satisfied. Alright, here's the recipe I had in mind. I was doing some minor preparations beforehand while I waited for you to come. This is why you saw me with a small spoon when you arrived. Okay, so I'm guessing that I'm going to be helping you actually mix the ingredients together. Yeah, it's going to be a bit hard for me to get everything mixed well enough to actually make a proper cake, considering the size of my hands. Just use a mixer? I don't have one. After all, this is my first time doing anything that would normally need a mixer. Makes sense. I do want to do some more baking one day, so I probably should get one. That is, if I don't mess up this cake. Now, let's get to the recipe. Okay, so what kind of cake are we making? We're just going to make a simple chocolate cake. I do hope that you like chocolate, though. Liking chocolate is an understatement. I love it. Oh, really? If I knew, I would have gotten some chocolate dessert for you last time. It's okay. Treating me to an entire dinner was already more than enough. If you say so. According to the recipe, we'll have to combine all the dry components, then do the same with the wet ingredients, and after that, we'll need to combine everything and bake the mixture. I already preheated the oven, though I haven't had time to mix all the ingredients yet. While I make the icing, do you think you could make the wet ingredients together? Okay, only if you tell me what you need to mix. Okay, 2 eggs, half a cup of vegetable oil and 1 cup of milk together. Remember to add a cup of boiling water and 2 teaspoons of vanilla essence as well. Be sure to mix everything fairly quickly. Have I got to make a note of this? Hang on, I'll grab my phone real quick and I'll take a photo of the screen, because I'm not going to remember anything like that. Okay, how long do I mix it for? Recipe doesn't say. I'm guessing until it's all relatively mixed together, but not too much. Okay, I should hopefully manage. After the mixing, I have to mix it with the dry ingredients, right? Yeah, you need 2 cups of sugar, a teaspoon of salt, and 1.5 teaspoons of baking soda, and just as much baking powder. Fine, and the flour. 1 3/4. Oh, and don't forget the cocoa powder. You need 3/4 of that as well. I thought that you needed help with the measurements. I do, but specifically with the wet ingredients, it's hard for me to measure things like oil without making a mess everywhere, and don't even get me started on the eggs. Okay, let me know if I need to repeat the recipe again. Okay, I'm glad I took a photo of the screen. Oh man. So what do I do? So is it wet ingredients first? Alright, so amount of eggs, vegetable oil. Did I cheat by taking a photo of the screen? But anyway, so it's 2 eggs. Cool, crack that egg. Okay, 1 more egg. Half a cup of vegetable oil is what it says. So, vegetable oil. Half a cup, yay. And 1 cup of milk. Okay, 1 cup. Remember to add a cup of boiling water. Is it 1 cup? Hell yeah. I feel like a cheat, I'm sorry, but I want to get this cake right. And 2 teaspoons of vanilla essence. Okay. Okay, 1. I want another one. Vanilla. So that's 1 teaspoon. So let's just read that again. 2 eggs. Cool. Half a cup of vegetable oil. 1 cup of milk. A cup of boiling water. I'm hoping the water's hot. And 2 teaspoons of vanilla essence. And mix it fairly quickly. Okay. So do I mix that first? Or do I do the dryer? Let's do the dryer. Okay, so 2 cups of... Where's the sugar? Sugar. Oh, it doesn't... Okay, we'll just do it twice. We want 2 cups. So another cup of that. So 2 cups of sugar, a teaspoon of salt. Go back. 1 teaspoon. 1.5 of baking soda. 1.5. Okay, so 1 baking soda, a quarter. Got a little bit of sums here, a little bit of maths. Baking soda. Hang on, I'm losing track. A teaspoon, so 1.5 teaspoons of baking soda. That's it. 1/4. And just as much of baking powder. Hang on. Baking powder. So I need 1.5 of this as well. So 1.5 baking powder. Half. Good. So what else? 1 3/4. Oh god. I missed a step with my photos. Okay, hang on. Was it the flour? It was flour, wasn't it? Flour is 1 3/4. 1. Okay, flour. Half. And then 1 more quarter. Quarter. 1 3/4. And the cocoa powder. You need 3/4 of cocoa powder. Cocoa powder. With the cocoa. There you go. 3/4. So half. And a quarter. There we go. Hopefully that's alright. So hopefully that's everything. I'm not gonna read all that. Okay, so let's just mix. So let's... Oh, okay, wait. More instructions. I've got mix the dry ingredients, mix the wet. So was the dry a quick mix? I think he said. Mix the wet first. I mixed all the wet ingredients together. It wasn't long before everything had been combined into a strange puddle of different ingredients. Okay. So now I'll add the dry. Oh, no. All options. Mix the dry. I mixed all the dry ingredients together. It wasn't long before everything had been combined into a powdered mess of dull colours. I think we're done. Mix everything. I combined all the ingredients together and stirred everything until it became a goopy, messy batter ready to be used for baking. I think I got that right. Done. I think. I did my best. Alright, let me pour the batter into the cake tins and put them in the oven. Remy poured the batter into the cake tins and put them in the oven while clumsily setting a timer. Afterward, he looked at me with an expression of accomplishment. I don't know about you, but I feel pretty proud of myself. Maybe we should open a bakery at some point. Considering how well we did, we might be able to open a bakery together once everything between humanity and dragonkind has calmed down a bit. Just imagine a bakery where both humans and dragons could eat some cake together. Wouldn't that be nice? Well, it's definitely an interesting idea, to be sure. Such a business would probably also help to establish harmony between humans and dragons. Maybe I should send that idea to the council during our next meeting. After all, somebody might actually just follow through with it. But for now, let's just focus on the cake first. And now we wait. Yeah. Remy, I've actually wanted to ask you something. Feel free to ask me anything. What do you think of Logan? The new human. I can't say I know enough about him to form an opinion. All I hope is that he doesn't turn out like Reza. Look, I've known him for quite a long time at this point. I highly doubt that he'll even be as half as bad as him. The thing is, it does look like he's torn. He has humanity as the focus of his goal, but given the comet's impending threat, I doubt he'd want to ignore dragonkind as well. Especially considering that without the generators offered in the trade, we won't last for too long back home. I suppose you're right. Still, I just feel a bit uncertain as to what he's capable of. I don't think that he brought a weapon with him, if that's what you're wondering. You think? You're worrying too much? Logan isn't the one who'd want to do anything like what Reza did? Maybe you're right. He says a lot's changed back home. I don't know. Maybe you're right. Maybe Logan has brought a gun, considering that he didn't know what had happened when he came searching for me. Still, I highly doubt that he'd actually use it unless he was in a life-threatening situation. You're not really helping me put my doubts to ease. Maybe you should try to find an opportunity to actually meet him. I'm not so sure. If you're really uncertain, then maybe I could accompany you. Besides, Logan is already constantly escorted by Bryce, so it's not as though he can do anything sketchy. Maybe Remy's not convinced. Oh, okay, he is. Okay, I'll try to meet up with Logan for your sake. If anything, maybe I can learn a few things that I could document for the council. Oh, buzzer just went. Let's see, how did the cake come out? Remy entered the kitchen once more. As he carefully removed the baking tins from the oven and set them on the kitchen counters, I excitedly awaited the outcome of our baking. Okay, could you come and have a look at this? Okay, how'd it go? I looked at the cake that we just made. The cake rose perfectly and had a smooth exterior. Remy took a knife and sliced the cake, revealing a moist and spongy interior. Talk about decadence. I don't think that I can say I ever saw a cake that good before. Oh, for sure. Looks like the recipe I had worked wonders. Of course, I probably couldn't have made it without you. Don't worry, I'm just happy to help you out. Honestly, hand mixing stuff is really difficult. It will really wipe you out. So, would you like some cake? No, I just wanted to stare at its marvellous presence. I'm putting your leg. Here, let me help you cut it. At least help me put the icing on first. Okay, I guess that's kind of important. Of course, we'll have to wait some time for the cake to cool before we can put the icing on first. Oh, I just thought you'd put the icing on the cake straight away once it's out the oven. Only if you want your icing to melt and make a total mess. I see. Well, in that case, we'll just wait for the cake to cool down. But cake accepted. Cake accomplished. It was all good. After quite a long time of waiting for the cake to cool down and for the icing to be spread, the cake was finally ready for us to enjoy. With the both of us smiling, we sliced the cake into several easy-to-serve slices. After we both took a slice for ourselves, we sat down in the living room and started to eat. Flavours of an ever-rich chocolate swarmed my mouth, with the spongy cake comforting my taste buds and the icing bringing everything together. I don't think I ever had a cake that tasted this good before. Definitely. This is most likely on par with what some of the professional bakers used to make back home before the flare hit. And to think we could make something like this in a typical kitchen. Indeed. We continued to enjoy our slices of cake in absolute silence, taking pleasure in the harmonious combination of flavours. It was only a few moments before both of our plates were licked clean. You know, I'm almost tempted to get another slice. Okay, what's stopping you? A dinner with the Dean. I don't think that I'd be able to stop if I ate another slice. Bring the cake for dessert? Consequences be damned. Then, you mind if I take one? Take one with you. You could probably give one to her as well. Oh, that's not necessary. We'll be having some dessert after our dinner. Yet, I don't think that I'll be able to finish my cake on my own before it starts to become stale either. I'll just have to save it for another time. Well, in any case, it was great having to spend some time with you. With the way some things are right now, I wouldn't be surprised if you got sent back through the portal soon. Let's not hold our breath. I'd rather finish the mission I was sent here to complete while also focusing on deflecting the comet. An ever-present reminder of these being the darkest days that we as a species have ever seen. Let's not think about such things while we're supposed to be having a day for ourselves. Baking a cake was a setup, wasn't it? Okay. Yeah, we'll go with that. Wait, inviting me to help you with baking a cake was all a setup to try and spend the day with me, wasn't it? What on earth makes you think that? I find it odd that you'd be able to cook a good meal the last time I had dinner with you if you weren't able to make the correct measurements. You just wanted an excuse for me to come help you. You do realise that cooking isn't the same as baking, right? Cooking doesn't really need exact measurements, so you can use as much of a specific ingredient as you want. Baking requires precision. Never mind. Remy drifted into thought for a bit after I finished speaking, but soon came back to reality. Somehow, he looked a bit more somber than he did just a moment ago. I wasn't sure whether he'd been reminded of a stray thought, or whether this had any deeper intentions. I think I should go now, as I might be a bit late for my scheduled dinner. I hate to sound rude to you of all people, but I think you should probably leave as well. Did we upset him? I'm sorry. Remy, there's still a few hours left before it could be considered evening. There's more than enough time. Is there really enough? Remy went into his bedroom before I could say anything, leaving me completely alone. Thinking that I probably won't see Remy again anytime soon, I decided to take my leave, like Remy asked of me. Was that on me? Was that down to my response? Yet, I couldn't help but wonder why Remy suddenly decided to shoo me away. Nothing like this has ever happened with him. So Remy deciding to ask me to leave, despite having several hours left before evening, raised some red flags for me. Considering Remy's strange behaviour recently, something definitely seemed more suspicious than usual. Was Remy trying to hide something from me? And if so, just what was he hiding? As I walked back home, I started to make some theories, yet none of them seemed likely enough to give it more than a few seconds worth of thought. Was there something that I'd been missing? Was it me? Am I the bad person here? Did I do something wrong? Or has Remy got some kind of issue? Oh, I don't know. But Logan wants to talk, and we're going to do this in the next episode. This is Osho signing off, and hopefully I will see you next time.